In this lecture, we will learn to identify issues in an audio recording. These issues need to be taken care of for a clean audio. Let's assume I want this recording to be used in a YouTube video. Different platforms have their own requirements for audio quality, but if we learn about YouTube, it will be easier to understand. Later, we can use our knowledge to adjust for other platforms like Spotify or ACX audiobooks. I will play this audio for a few seconds. Let's see what issues we can find. Why you should use Audacity. Audacity is a free audio recording and editing software available on Windows, Mac and Linux. It has the easiest user interface among the audio editing software. Even if you are a beginner, you can start using Audacity with a very small learning curve. You have to learn the basics of audio editing and you are good to go. So one issue is obvious, the volume level is not ideal. If you compare it with the loudness of my current narration, the volume of the recorded audio is relatively low. There are other issues like background noise, which is not obvious with current loudness level. I'll increase the loudness to find out other issues in the audio. Before I do that, I'll duplicate this track. To duplicate a track, select everything inside the track by double-clicking. Then press the keyboard shortcut, Command D or Ctrl D if you are using Windows. You can also go to Edit and Duplicate. A new track is added at the bottom. When you have multiple tracks, you can use the solo or mute button to activate or mute a track. The solo button will make the current track active and mute others. The mute button will mute the current track. So why have I duplicated the track? I have duplicated it to compare it with the original recording after making some changes. I'll increase the loudness of the bottom track, select it and go to Effect. There are several effects to increase the volume and I will choose Normalize effect. Normalize is the standard effect to increase the loudness of the audio. The primary settings is the normalization value of the peak amplitude. Peak amplitude means the loudest point of the entire audio. The loudest point will get the amplitude you set in this input box. The maximum value can be 0 for the peak amplitude. You can also notice that 0 is the maximum value on the meters. If you set 0 in this box, your audio will be loudest without any distortion or clipping. If you try to enter any positive value in the box, the apply button will become inactive. The ideal value of the peak amplitude depends on the platform. -3 is a good enough value for most platforms, so I will set it to -3. I will get into the details in another lecture. For now, let's set it to -3 and try to identify the issues in the recording. As I normalized, notice the waveforms grew vertically than before. This vertical growth is an indication of increase in the volume level. Whatever audio software you use, it is important to understand the difference visually. That will help you to edit faster and in the correct way. You will notice another thing in the parts where I was not talking. Some small dots are appearing. These dots are noise. It was not visible before, but as I increase the volume, these noises are also appearing in the waveform. The volume level I set is ideal for many platforms, so let's hear it and check what more issues are there. Why you should use Audacity. Audacity is a free audio recording and editing software available on Windows, Mac and Linux. It has the easiest user interface among the audio editing software. Even if you are a beginner, you can start using Audacity with a very small learning curve. You have to learn the basics of audio editing and you are good to go. To clean up audio recordings using Audacity, you have to know some basics about the audio data. Though Audacity is 100% free, it is powerful enough to do professional quality work. Many full-time voice artists and audiobook narrators also use Audacity. Okay, I think we now have very little to complain about volume. It is near perfect, but still there is some room for improvement. I'll discuss that in another lecture. If you ask me what other things we can improve, I would say the tiny bit of noise we see on the waveform. If I play the audio, you will see something in the meter. You may actually hear the noise depending on how you are listening to this lecture. You can listen to the noise if you use headphones in a quiet environment. Otherwise, you will not hear it much. Though a little bit of noise is visible, it will not be an issue if it is under a certain level. I recorded the sample audio in a controlled and relatively quiet environment, so noise level was quite low. But practically, it will not the same for everyone. I will show you in the upcoming lectures how to remove this noise. My recorded sample also had lots of mouth noise or lip smacks here and there. I will also show you how to reduce that. At the start of this lecture, I told you about the purpose of duplicating the track. Let's listen and alter between the tracks so that we can hear how much difference the volume increase has done. Why you should use Audacity? Audacity is a free audio recording and editing software available on Windows, Mac and Linux. It has the easiest user interface among the audio editing software. Even if you are a beginner, you can start using Audacity with a very small learning curve. So you see, some issues are not noticeable in the original recording, but as I increase the sound level, noise and other issues seem to appear. The volume level during editing should be at a comfortable level. The audio should be clearly audible and not so loud that it hurts our ears. Because people will listen to your audio at a comfortable volume, that's why whatever issue can be found in a comfortable volume need to be fixed.